Hello everyone, welcome back to Atreyu Crochet. So in today's video I am going to be showing you how to make a Kufi hat. I have gotten several requests from you guys. Need help making Kufi hats, Atreyu? Can you create a Kufi hat tutorial? Help, Kufi hat, help, need help please. So I'm going to be making a Kufi hat tutorial. I've already made one. I've made a very cool one, in fact, one that actually glows in the dark. If you have not seen that video, check out the card above. But anyway, I'm going to make another one because I know you guys don't search my channel, the playlist, for all the videos that I've created. Anyway, things you will need is a skein of yarn, if you can call it that. It's so small, it's like thread. But you'll need one of these. I'll leave a link to this in the description. Okay, but this is 50 grams. It's 1.8 ounces, 165 meters, or 180 yards. This calls for a size 3 millimeter D US crochet hook. However, I'm going to use a size E 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, slightly larger because I have a tight tension. Use what's best for you. This yarn thread belongs in the weight 2 category. Okay, so it's, you guys know how I say medium 4. Well, this is like a fine 2 or sport 2. Okay, it's 100% cotton. So imagine those dish rags that are made of 100% cotton. That's kind of what this is. And let me give you some washing and drying instructions for your Kufi right now while I'm thinking about it. So you want to wash it gently in lukewarm water. You never want to use bleach or softener. And also when it comes to drying, you want to tumble dry delicate. And then, or you can just let it dry flat like in the shade after you wash it. You never want to wring this type of yarn because, like I said, imagine that you used homemade 100% cotton dish rag. You see what happens to that? Yeah, you don't want that to happen in your Kufi. Alright, other things you will need. So you got the yarn, thread, you got the hook, you'll need a pair of scissors obviously, you'll need a darning weaving tapestry needle, and you will need a stitch marker. This is a wonderful day, you guys. Do you know why? Look at all the blue. I love blue. Alright, let's get started. So we're going to start out with the magic ring or magic circle. So we'll take our yarn, wrap it around our finger, creating an X, put our thumb over the X, continue to wrap around that way, bringing it between the second and third finger, like that. Okay? Now we're going to take our crochet hook, go under the first one, over the second one, hooking it on and pulling it through. We'll take the thumb and finger, grab there, and then gently slide our 2 fingers out. Now we're going to chain 1. Like that. Alright, we're going to pull on this tail to close the ring a little bit. That's the magic of the magic ring. And now we're going to put 12 half double crochets in that ring. So, to make a half double crochet, we yarn over, go into the ring, yarn over, pull through to the front. You'll have 3 loops. You'll yarn over, and then go through all 3 loops. 1, 2, 3. That's our first half double crochet. We're going to put our stitch marker on that half double crochet so we always know what's the first stitch. Alright, and now we'll make 11 more because we need a total of 12. So yarn over, go into the ring again, yarn over, pull through to the front for 3 loops. Yarn over, go through all 3 loops. Continue putting 1 half double crochet until you have a total of 12. I'll meet you at that point. I have all 12 half double crochets made. I'm going to pull on the tail, close in the ring. Alright, and then I'll put that tail to the back out of the way. Now I'm going to slip stitch into the first half double crochet, the top of the first half double crochet. So just get both loops like that. And then I'll yarn over, pull all the way through. without splitting your yarn. Alright, now you want to chain 1. And in that same place where we just slip stitch, we want to put a half double crochet. And in fact, we're going to put 2 in there, but let's make this first one first. So go right back in there, slice the icing on top of the cake, make your half double crochet, with your 3 loops, and then yarn over, go through all 3. We'll stop and move the stitch marker up to that stitch that we just made. Alright, and I told you that stitch will get 2, so we go back in there and put another half double crochet. So yarn over, go in the same spot, and put a second half double crochet. Every stitch of this round is going to get 2 half double crochet. So by the end of round 2, you should have 24 stitches. Here's the next stitch. You see the top right there, right? So we'll put 2 half double crochet in there. Yarn over, go in there, slicing the icing off the top of the cake, making your half double crochet. Yarn over and go back in there one more time and put your second half double crochet. Continue putting 2 half double crochet in every stitch round. I'll meet you at the stitch marker. I'm back around to the stitch marker. I'm going to slip stitch into the first half double crochet of the round, slicing the icing off the top of the cake. I'm going to chain 1, and right in there where I just slip stitch, I'm going to put 1 half double crochet. Now I'm going to move the stitch marker to the first stitch of round 3, the one I just made. The pattern for round 3 is 1, 2. The first stitch gets 1, the second gets 2. Our first stitch got 1, we just made it. And now the second stitch, look for the top, which is there, it's going to get 2. So I'm going to go in there, put a half double crochet, and then I'm going to go back in there and put a second half double crochet. And now I move on to the next stitch, which is there. So next stitch gets 1, and then the next stitch right there is going to get 2. Keep doing that all the way around. I'll see you at the stitch marker. I'm now back around. I ended on the 2. You should always end on the 2 during these increase rounds. Okay, so I'm going to slip stitch to the first stitch. How do you know which is the first? Because it has a stitch marker. That's why we marked it. Now I'm going to chain 1. Careful not to switch your yarn. Chain 1, and you guys know, go right back in there where you slip stitch and put your first half double crochet of the round. Okay. By the way, round 3 had 36 stitches. We're starting round 4. Round 4 will have a total of 48. Let's transfer the stitch marker. Who knows what the pattern for round 4 is? Well, if the last one was 1, 2, that means the next one is 1, 1, 2. First stitch gets 1, second stitch gets 1, third stitch gets 2. We already gave our first stitch 1. Let's give our second stitch, which is there, 1. And now that means this third stitch, which is there, will get 2. 1, 1, 2. Continue that fashion around. I'll meet you at the stitch marker. 1, next stitch, 1, final stitch, 2. Back in there for 2. Slip stitch to the first stitch, the one with the stitch marker. Pull all the way through. Chain 1. Put a half double crochet in that first stitch where you just slip stitch. And move the stitch marker to that newly created half double crochet of round 5. Round 5 will have a total of 60 stitches. If you ever want to know how many stitches a round should have, multiply the round number, in this case 5, times 12. The pattern for this round will be 1, 1, 1, 2. So we're always just adding a 1 before the last 2 for each round. Okay, and that's how you increase. Alright, so our first stitch got 1. The second stitch needs to get 1. The third stitch also needs to get 1. And then that fourth stitch will get 2. Back in there for 2. Next stitch gets 1. Second stitch gets 1. Third stitch gets 1. Fourth stitch gets 2. Back in there for 2. Continue in that fashion. I'll meet you at the stitch marker. Alright, so I have completed round 5. I have a total of 60 stitches, and this is going to fit approximately you guys, a small size head. I don't like telling you how large to make your diameter because, you know, there's so many factors. It's only an approximation, but I know many of you guys are used to watching other crochet channels where they tell you that information. I think it's best to fit the circle on the crown of the head of the person that you're making it for, and then go from there. But I'll do this one time in this video. So for a small head, you'll crochet 5 rounds and you'll have a total of 60 stitches. If you want to crochet a medium size kufi, then you'll increase one more time, so you'll go to round 6, and then you're just adding 12 more stitches, so you'll have a total of 72 stitches for round 6. And if you want a large kufi, then you'll increase yet another round and go to round 7, at which point you'll have a total of 84 stitches. Okay, so whether you stop at round 6 like me, round 7, or round 8, this is what you're going to do next. So now we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch. Obviously that's the one with the stitch marker. Like normal. Yarn over, pull all the way through. And then chain 1. Alright, so for me, I'm starting round 6. This is what I'm going to do for round 6 since I'm making a small kufi. I'm going to put 1 double crochet in the first 9 stitches and then 2 double crochet in that 10th stitch. If you're making a medium sized kufi, and that means also that you're now starting round 7, then you're going to put 1 double crochet in the first 11 stitches and then 2 double crochet in the 12th stitch. And if you're making a large size kufi, which means you're now starting round 8, then you're going to put 1 double crochet in the first 13 stitches and then 2 double crochet in that 14th stitch. Okay, let's start. So I have 1 double crochet in the first 9 stitches and then 2 double crochet in the 10th. So I'm going to yarn over, go right back in there where I slip stitched, yarn over, pull through to the front for 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Take out the stitch marker and I put it on that first stitch, that first double crochet. So I said, for me, 1 double crochet in the first 9 stitches. So that's 1. Next stitch, we'll also get 1. Next stitch, we'll also get 1. And I'm just going to count to 9. So that's 3. Next stitch, 4. Next stitch, 5. Next stitch, 6. Next stitch, 7. Next stitch, 8. Next stitch, 9. And then in that 10th stitch, I'm going to put 2, a double crochet. Now back in there for the second one, for 2. Okay, so for me, that's my grouping of 10 stitches. Okay, and I've increased in that final one. And now I'm going to repeat that. So the next 9 will get 1 double crochet, and then that 10th stitch in that second grouping will get 2. I'll do that all the way back around till I get to the stitch marker, and I'll end on the 2. Remember, you should be doing the exact same thing, except you're going to be using your specific instructions and that's going to depend on whether or not you're making a medium or a large hat. See you at the stitch marker. Alright, so I have completed my round 6. I have a total of 66 stitches. For those of you who just completed round 7, you should have a total of 78 stitches. And for those of you who completed round 8, you should have a total of 90 stitches. That was our final increase round. So from here on out, we'll be maintaining those numbers. Just to give you guys an idea of the diameter of this circle for this small size kufi, the diameter of the circle of it, it's about 4 3/4 inches, a little bit less than 12 centimeters. Okay. So now, this is what you're going to do. So for me, I'm starting round 7. The medium people are starting round 8, and the large people are starting round 9. We're going to slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet of the round, indicated and marked by the stitch marker, and then we're going to chain 1. We're going to take out the stitch marker now, and now we're going to put a front post double crochet right around that same first stitch. So yarn over, here is the stitch, okay? So just, you can go through between the chain 1 and the double crochet, just go behind the stitch like that, yarn over, pull through to the front, you'll have your normal 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. We will replace the stitch marker, and now we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip 1 and go into the next stitch and put another front post double crochet. So yarn over, skip 1, here's the next one, we'll go to the next one, go behind, again, bring your yarn forward, yarn over, pull through to the front for 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, chain 1, skip 1, and we're going to post around this one thereafter. So yarn over, skip 1, and put a front post double crochet on the one thereafter. And we're going to continue in this fashion all the way around. Chain 1, skip 1, front post double crochet around the one thereafter. Continue in that fashion. I'll meet you at the stitch marker. I'm now almost back around. If you do this correctly, you should end with the chain 1. So chain 1, then we skip 1, and that's the last stitch. So now we just slip stitch to the first front post double crochet of the round, the one that's marked by the stitch marker. Alright, we'll chain 1, take out the stitch marker, and we're going to post around the previous front post double crochet, so right there. So we'll yarn over. Once again, you want to go in between that chain 1 there and the front post. So there should be a little gap between where you chained 1 before you made the front post and the front post, right there. So I'm going to go in, go behind the front post like that, yarn over, pull through, and complete the double crochet. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. And now I'll replace the stitch marker. So we're going to put a front post double crochet around every front post double crochet, and as for those chain 1 spaces, we're just going to put a regular double crochet. So now we're in the chain 1 space, so we just make a double crochet, just enter the gap, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Now we're at a front post, so we post around it, yarn over, go behind it, yarn over, pull through the front, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Now we're at another gap, so it just gets a regular double crochet. Continue in this fashion all the way around, and I will see you at the stitch marker. I'm almost back around, I have a front post double crochet to make there. It's the second to last stitch, and then don't forget this final chain one space. Okay, remember we chain one and then we slip stitch. That counts as a stitch. So go in there and put a regular double crochet. And now we're going to slip stitch back into the first stitch, that front post double crochet. Chain one. Alright, now we're going to take out the stitch marker and just as before, we're going to post around the first front post double crochet. So just go behind the front post, double crochet and post around it. And then put the stitch marker on. So now we're going back to the previous round type. So it's front post double crochet, chain one, and then we skip one, and that takes us to the next front post double crochet, and we're just going to post around that, going behind it. Okay, so chain one, skip one, and post around the previous front post. Chain one, skip one, and post around the previous front post. Okay, so we're going to be repeating the previous two rounds 3 more times. Okay, so this was one round right here, and then this was the second round, the one with that stitch in the middle. So those 2 rounds are going to be repeating. So we just started the next round where we have the chain one in between, and then after that we're going to go back to this type of round. By the time you're done, you should have a total of 8 rounds. So 1, 2, 3, and then I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, I'm on my 3rd round, and I have 5 more rounds to make. So continue alternating each round type until you have a total of 8 rounds, starting with the first round where you put the front post double crochet and chained one. I have made my way back around of my final round, what I'm calling the solid round. There are no gaps. Okay, so I have crocheted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds of that section. If you know you want your kufi to be deeper, that is to say longer, okay, then you can do more rounds of that. Just be sure to end on the solid round. But this is deep enough for me, for my kufi. Alright, so now we're going to do 3 rounds of single crochet to finish this up. Okay, so we're going to chain one. I've slip stitched already. I'm going to chain one like normal. And instead of making that front post double crochet, I'm going to go in and slice the icing off the top of the cake and make a single crochet. So yarn over, pull through to the front. You'll have 2 loops. You yarn over and go through 2. 1, 2. Now we're going to transfer the stitch marker to that single crochet. And we're just going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So here's the next stitch, the one that's that double crochet that's in that gap. And make a single crochet. The next stitch is here, that next front post. Slice the icing off top of the cake, getting 2 strands, single crochet. The next stitch is the double crochet in the gap. Slice the icing off top of the cake, single crochet. Meet you at the stitch marker. Alright, I made my way back around. Be sure to pay close attention to what I do next. So we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first single crochet like normal. Okay, see how I'm slicing the icing off top of the cake? Yarn over, pull through like that. We'll take out this stitch marker. Now to make this single crochet, I don't remember right now what the name of the single crochet is, but instead of going back in there where I slip stitch, slicing the icing off the top of the cake like that, I'm going to find the 2 strands, those 2 loops that make up the body of the single crochet, and I'm going to go right in the center, in the heart of it. And that's where I'm going to put every single crochet for this round and the next. Okay, so I'm just going to go in the center, in the heart of the body of the single crochet, like that. Then I'll yarn over, pull through for 2 loops, and make the single crochet like normal. Alright, and now I'm going to put on a stitch marker. I don't think I chained one. You can chain one. If you don't, it's not a big deal. Alright, so as you go around and put in every single crochet, the trick is to find the body, okay, and then you're gonna go in the center like that, in the center of it. That's where you're gonna direct your hook. So if you were doing it normal, you would slice the icing off top of the cake like that, but that's not what we want. See how we're kind of to the right of the body? No. You're gonna find the body and then go in the center of the body and then make your single crochet like that. And it's gonna create this braid effect, okay? So not there, but in the center of the body, and then make your single crochet. For you beginners, if you can't get this right now, it's okay. You can do your regular single crochets, but I think it's worth it to do it like this because it's going to give it a really unique look. Alright, I'll check back in. I just completed round 2 of this single crochet round. I'm going to show you one more time how to begin. Okay, so take out the stitch marker, and then just to show you, I'm going to first slip stitch in the top of the stitch of that first single crochet. So that's the top of the stitch, right? See the body off there to the left? Alright, so I slip stitch into the top of the stitch. If I pull up, you see what it looks like. You see the gap below the top of the stitch. Alright, I told you can chain one or not. I'll chain one this time, but whatever you do, just be consistent. Alright, now we want to find the body and go in the center of the body, and that's where we're going to make our single crochet like that. So when you pull up, that's what it looks like. Okay, so for the next one, bypass the top of the stitch, go to the body, insert your crochet hook in the center, yarn over, pull through, and then pull up, and that's what you see in the center like that. Okay, and then complete the single crochet. One more time, bypass the top, go to the body in the center, enter, yarn over, and then yarn over, go through 2. And when I pull up, that's what it looks like. That's what you should be getting. It should look like a braid, okay? Or link chains if you're doing this correctly. One more round, and then we're done. I have one more to make. I'm going to go in the center with a single crochet and make the final single crochet. I'm back around to the stitch marker. Slice the icing off the top of the first single crochet of that third round, and then just slip stitch, chain 1, cut your yarn, fasten off. We can take out this stitch marker now. We're done. Alright, and then I like to go through some loops, just a couple loops on the inside to bring this in. And then I like to chain 1 so that this tail tends to the inside, and then also that serves as a tag. So I always know where the back of the kufi is. You can cut that down. As for this tail here at the very beginning, the tail to the magic circle, you just pull on it to close the hole as much as possible. And then you'll use your darning weaving tapestry needle to weave it in through some of those first half double crochets. Okay, so just go about the circle like that. You can rotate so that you just go around and pull tight like that so the circle doesn't open up again, the hole doesn't open. Reopen. Alright, like that. And then you can go through a couple of loops. Then go through a little loop there to create a knot. And then you can cut this down. And it's secure. Okay? And this is your kufi, you guys. As I said, the different sizing options that I gave you, those are just approximations. I personally don't like to give them because there's so many factors, like a person's tension, the type of yarn that they're using, if they want to do it but don't have the exact type of yarn, the crochet hook size that they use. There's so many factors that will determine the final outcome of whatever they're making. So you can crochet, if you need this deeper, you can crochet more of these rounds. If you want a thicker border, you can crochet more of those single crochet rounds. Okay, it really is up to you. But this is how you make a kufi, you guys. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, so for all of you who have been asking relentlessly for me to make a kufi tutorial, here's your kufi tutorial. And if you haven't seen the one that I already made, check out that one. It glows in the dark.